As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. Condensed edition. The aphorism, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," not only embraces the whole of a man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. As the plant springs from the seed, so every act of a man springs from the hidden seeds of thought. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, man ascends to divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. Between these two extremes are all the grades of character, and man is their maker and master. Man is the master of thought, the molder of character, and the maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. As a being of power, intelligence, and love, and the lord of his own thoughts, man holds the key to every situation and contains within himself that transforming and regenerative agency by which he may make himself what he wills. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and man can find every truth connected with his being if he will dig deep into the mine of his soul. That he is the maker of his character, the molder of his life, and the builder of his destiny, he may unerringly prove if he will watch, control, and alter his thoughts, tracing their effects upon himself, upon others, and upon his life and circumstances, linking cause and effect by patient practice and investigation. A man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein and will continue to produce their kind. Just as a gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it free from weeds and growing the flowers and fruits which he requires, so may a man tend the garden of his mind, weeding out all the wrong, useless, and impure thoughts, and cultivating toward perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. By pursuing this process, a man sooner or later discovers that he is the master gardener of his soul, the director of his life. Thought and character are one, as character can only manifest and discover itself through environment and circumstance. The outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his inner state. Every man is where he is by the law of his being. The thoughts which he has built into his character have brought him there, and in the arrangement of his life there is no element of chance, but all is the result of a law which cannot err. Man is buffeted by circumstances so long as he believes himself to be the creature of outside conditions. But when he realizes that he is a creative power, and that he may command the hidden soil and seeds of his being out of which circumstances grow, he then becomes the rightful master of himself. Circumstances grow out of thought. Every man knows this who has for any length of time practiced self-control and self-purification, for he will have noticed that the alteration in his circumstances has been in exact ratio with his altered mental condition. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. It reaches the height of its cherished aspirations. It falls to the level of its unchastened desires, and circumstances are the means by which the soul receives its own. Every thought seed sown or allowed to fall into the mind, and to take root there produces its own, blossoming sooner or later into act and bearing its own fruitage of opportunity and circumstance. Good thoughts bear good fruit, bad thoughts bad fruit. A man does not come to the almshouse or the jail by the tyranny of fate or circumstance, but by the pathway of groveling thoughts and base desires. Nor does a pure-minded man fall suddenly into crime by stress of any mere external force. The criminal thought had long been secretly fostered in the heart, and the hour of opportunity revealed its gathered power. Circumstance does not make the man, it reveals him to himself. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Their whims, fancies, and ambitions are thwarted at every step, but their inmost thoughts and desires are fed with their own food, be it foul or clean. The divinity that shapes our ends is in ourselves. It is our very self. Only himself manacles man. Thought and action are the jailers of fate. They imprison, being base. They are also the angels of freedom. They liberate, being noble. Not what he wishes and prays for does a man get, but what he justly earns. His wishes and prayers are only gratified and answered when they harmonize with his thoughts and actions. Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. The man who does not shrink from self-crucifixion can never fail to accomplish the object upon which his heart is set. Even the man whose sole object is to acquire wealth must be prepared to make great personal sacrifices before he can accomplish his object. And how much more so he who would realize a strong and well-poised life. Good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. Bad thoughts and actions can never produce good results. This is but saying that nothing can come from corn but corn, nothing from nettles but nettles. Men understand this law in the natural world and work with it. But few understand it in the mental and moral world, though its operation there is just as simple and undeviating. Suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with himself, with the law of his being. The sole and supreme use of suffering is to purify, to burn out all that is useless and impure. Suffering ceases for him who is pure. There could be no object in burning gold after the dross had been removed, and a perfectly pure and enlightened being could not suffer. The body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. At the command of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. Change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. Clean thoughts make clean habits. The so-called saint who does not wash his body is not a saint. He who has strengthened and purified his thoughts does not need to consider the malevolent microbe. If you would protect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, beautify your mind. Thoughts of malice, envy, disappointment, and despondency rob the body of its health and grace. A sour face does not come by chance. It is made by sour thoughts. Wrinkles that come from passion are deep and hard. A serene face is the product of a serene mind. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. The man who lacks purpose is like a ship without a rudder. He drifts and wrecks. For him to possess power, he must realize that he is a power. He must realize that the purpose for which he lives is the continuous development of his mental powers, with the object of increasing the happiness of the human race. In all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results. The strength of the effort is the measure of the result. Men do not fail because they lack strength. They fail because they lack will. A strong man cannot be defeated. If he has a strong purpose and sets his shoulder to the wheel, circumstances must yield. Chance is not. The strongest and most successful natures are those who have made the best use of their opportunities. They are those who have been most diligent in the development of their own inner powers. Dreamers are the saviors of the world. The visible world is sustained by the invisible. The world is beautiful because the dreamers have dreamed. Cherish your visions and your ideals. They are the music of your soul. They are the blueprints of your ultimate achievements. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. The greatest achievement was at first and for a time a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn. The bird waits in the egg. And in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they shall not long remain so if you but perceive an ideal and strive to reach it. You cannot travel within and stand still without. Know yourself. Watch your thoughts. Control your thoughts. Purify your thoughts. This is the path to mastery over your own destiny. This is the path to the realization of all that is noble and beautiful in life. This is the path to the divine. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. It is the result of long and patient effort in self-control. Its presence is an indication of ripened experience and of more than ordinary knowledge of the laws of thought. The more tranquil a man becomes, the greater is his success, his influence, his power for good. Even the ordinary trader will find his business prosperity increase as he develops a greater self-control and equanimity. For people will always prefer to deal with a man whose demeanor is strongly calm. The strong, calm man is always loved and revered. He is like a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land. The blessedness of a tranquil mind is a priceless possession. How insignificant mere money-seeking looks in comparison with a serene life. A life that dwells in the ocean of truth, beneath the waves, beyond the reach of tempests, in the eternal calm. The collected wisdom of all ages, the knowledge of all the great spiritual teachers, the deep truths of every philosophy, all point to this one great truth, that a man is what he thinks, that the world he lives in is the world he creates with his mind, that his destiny is not determined by the stars or by fate, but by the thoughts he chooses and nurtures every moment of every day. The universe does not favor the few. It is a law, a perfect, absolute, and unchanging law, and to this law all men are subject, the law of cause and effect in the mental realm. As a man thinketh, so is he, and as he continues to think, so he becomes. This is the whole of the law. There is no mystery, there is no secret. There is only the eternal truth that every thought you think is a seed you plant, and what you plant you will surely reap. Plant thoughts of strength and you will be strong. Plant thoughts of courage and you will be brave. Plant thoughts of love and you will be loved. Plant thoughts of success and you will succeed. You are the master of your own destiny. The power is within you. The key is in your hand. The door is before you. All that remains is for you to turn the key and walk through. As a man thinketh, so is he. As you think, so shall you become.